Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at wagertalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at wagertalk.com.
Welcome into the NFL Opening Line Report Week 3. We're breaking it down. Teddy covers. I am Drew Martin. Teddy, happy Monday morning to you. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, great to be here, my friend. Looking forward to breaking down the NFL line moves over the course of the next, 45 minutes or so.
Absolutely. It was a down weekend for me. Hopefully it was a better weekend for you, Teddy. Hopefully it was a better weekend for all the listeners out there. We appreciate you joining us 10 a.m. Pacific time each and every Monday. This is the NFL Opening Line Report on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Teddy, we got Monday Night Football here. Kind of a wide spread, speaks towards what the market is expecting here. The odds makers as well, talking about the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers tonight, Monday Night Football. 48.5 being the total. Green Bay Packers, minus 11 in the hook. Home favorites looking to bounce back here. At least that's what the odds makers betting market are telling us. What are we thinking tonight?
Yeah, and of course, I didn't have a great weekend either. No question about it. I split in Saturday. I split in college on Saturday, and then yesterday in the NFL. The only thing I won was my 5% big ticket. Unfortunately, not a great day in the NFL yesterday. That said, we did win the 5%. I got no complaints there. And when you look at tonight's game, it's real clear where the money's coming. We talked about it last Monday. We previewed this game. We're like, if you like Green Bay, bet it sooner rather than later. And I'll say that again today. You missed the 9.5, you missed the 10s, you missed the 10.5s, you missed the 11s. But Packers at 11.5, it can only go. I haven't heard anybody betting Detroit. Now, pros aren't betting Detroit. The Joes aren't betting Detroit. This line can only go in one direction. If you like the Packers, bet them now.
Bet them now and wait for the Lions here, Teddy. I mean, any insight in terms of, you see in this many times in the past with a big underdog here. Do you think at some point it's a buy on the Lions?
No.
Okay.
I don't want the Lions. There's not a price. It's not like, if it gets to 14, I'm going to start chucking in bets on Detroit. Number one, I don't think it's going to get to 14. And number two, I don't want to start chunking in bets on Detroit. But 14 would be the price that I would start to think about that.
All right, guys, and let's get into it. NFL Opening Line Report style here. Thursday, actually, first game. Carolina Panthers, Houston Texans, Teddy. We're seeing 43 as the total, minus 7 in the hook here. That's minus 7.5. The Panthers is the road favorite in the short week.
Sure. Look-ahead line. Of course, for every game, I'm going to give you the look-ahead line. These are the bettable lines from the Westgate Superbook here in Las Vegas from last week. You could have bet this on last Saturday at this number. So it tells us how much the lines move after one game between these two teams. So we'll get an idea. But the look-ahead line here was Carolina minus 3.5. And I'm seeing openers up there that aren't the openers that I have, so I'm not sure where those lines are coming from. This line opened 7.5. All right. 7.5, 43, 43.5. And we haven't seen any indicators that the markets are going to come towards Houston. If Davis Mills start, we will not see money for the Texans. If Tyrod Taylor is healthy enough to go, there will be some, but that's going to be injury related, not market related. The market's going to tell us, or the injury is going to tell us what the market's going to do on this one. So beware the injury info. This total has been bet down a little bit right from the get-go. You can certainly understand why. Panthers defense has been real good the first couple of weeks. Real good the first couple, where they have 10 sacks, 3 interceptions. They've been putting a lot of pressure on the line of scrimmage. And when you talk about these two coaches, Rule and Collier, two guys that are defensive-minded guys on a short week, I think that makes a big difference. Here's a quote from Carolina, Hassan Reddick. Right now, we're exceeding where I thought we would be as a defense. We're just getting after it. Morgan Fox. These guys have bought in to Phil Snow's defensive schemes. Quote, when you have the back half covering extremely well, that allows guys to make plays. The guys up front are learning how to rush together. Just goes to show what everyone's locked in and ready to do their part. So Panthers defense is real. Texans Well, they are who they are. Again, the money here likely to be injury related based on Houston's QB situation. Again, we have seen some early money on the under.
I like it, Teddy. As we head to this Sunday, September 26th slate, starting off with the 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific kicks here. Top of the board going down in rotation order, 469, 470 here. Arizona at Jacksonville, Teddy. Looks like the Cardinals -7 in the hook, road favorites, 52 the total in North Florida.
Yeah, look ahead line here was Arizona -6.5, a total of 51. Now we're looking at 7s and some 7.5. There really is a split number right here. I would anticipate there will be some sharp support for the Jags. The Jags are saying all the right things. They are. Even Urban Meyer, quote, "I've seen nonsense seep into organizations when you're 2-0. I guess I haven't seen it when you're 0-2 because he's never gone 0-2 in his career. But I've seen it when you lose a game. We can't allow that. And the good thing is, I don't see that happening. I told players and staff, that's the one thing that will not be tolerated with the Jags is nonsense. It's a bunch of good players, good guys, and coaches working their tails off." And, of course, Trevor Lawrence had a really rough game yesterday. Making sure I keep my confidence every week is big, and I think I have that. We're going to get better. We're close. Obviously, last week and this week doesn't look great when you're at the numbers, but I feel like we're really close. We just got to make some more plays and stick together. Worth noting that this is an Arizona defense that just allowed 7.7 yards per play and 6.6 yards per rush and didn't force a turnover in their non-covering win against Minnesota.
Also, interesting note here, first time Urban Meyer's lost back-to-back games since 2010 when he was at the University of Florida, Teddy. Not sure how relevant that is. It's just speaking to the fact of what he's kind of jumping into here with the Jacksonville Jaguars, Teddy.
Yeah, Myers figured out after 2 games that it's going to be a process in Jacksonville.
Right. It's almost like the rumors of the USC job. I don't know if they're going to get louder as time goes on. It will be something to watch there in Jacksonville for sure.
He's not taking the USC job. Why would he go back to college? It doesn't make any sense. He's not taking that job. It's nonsense. It's media fodder.
Something to follow along. I don't know, Teddy. I'll take the other side of that. Maybe he could head back, but it's something to watch, guys. We got Indianapolis, Tennessee on the next one up. Titans -5, -5.5, 50 being the total here, Teddy.
Look ahead line, Tennessee -3.5 and 53. My powering number. And again, we don't know if it's going to be Wentz or if it's going to be Jacob Eason. My powering number is Wentz 6, Tennessee 6. Eason plays, I make the number 9. And that might be short. Eason's not an NFL quarterback, and we saw it last week. Wentz talking about the injury yesterday, quote, "It's sore. It definitely feels sore. We'll see how it reacts this week." It's a bad situation when you can't finish. You kind of feel like you let your team down. And, of course, the Colts yesterday were twice inside the Rams 5. They were stopped on downs and stopped on interceptions. First and goal from the 1, Quentin Nilsson, the all-pro offensive guard. That's unacceptable. I think we ran 3 out of 4 times and we didn't get it. We've got to block them better and punch it in. But, again, they've got injuries on the offensive line. Xavier Rhodes was out yesterday. T.Y. Hilton, Paris Campbell out right now. It's a Colts team that is in a bad way, isn't feeling confident, has a QB injury, and multiple other injuries right now. Tennessee, more than 42 minutes of possession. And the crazy thing is their lineman got hurt. Taylor Lewin got hurt in pregame warmups. Roger Saffold got hurt in game. And Derrick Henry had no holes for the first half. The second half, he blew up and had the best half that he's seen, that he may have all year in the overtime. And, of course, Tennessee off the overtime win. Teams off the overtime win facing divisional foes the next week aren't necessarily a good bet as favorites. That said, the markets aren't enamored with Indy right now. This is another game likely to move based on quarterback injuries more than any other factor.
Teddy, moving down the list here, we got the Baltimore Ravens, Detroit Lions next game up. We're seeing the Ravens -9 in the hook, road favorites, 50 being the total. Of course, limited marketplace here, Teddy, with the Detroit Lions playing tonight. Baltimore off of a huge win last night over the Chiefs. What are we thinking here?
Yeah. The look headline was Ravens -7.5, total 48.5. My powering number for the game going into tonight is Baltimore -8. And, of course, we're seeing 9s and even some 9.5s out there right now. With the total of 50. So we have seen some over money come in for a Ravens team that's just allowed 30 in back-to-back weeks for the first time. I forget since how long. I should have written that down. It's been a long time since Baltimore's given up 30-plus in back-to-backs, but obviously getting the win last night, and that makes this something of a flat spot game. You can anticipate if Detroit hangs within the number here, maybe there'll be some wise guy support for the Titans, but obviously for the Lions, I should say. But being that we don't know what Detroit's going to do tonight, you can't make a good prediction on where this number is going to go just yet. All that said, from a spot standpoint, this is not going to be a Baltimore spot. I'm not convinced it's going to be a Detroit spot, but I don't see any sharp money coming in on the Ravens laying this price. Hence, well, if the Lions get blown out tonight, who knows how high this line will go.
Yeah, for sure. Something to watch tonight, guys. And Teddy, going back to the correlation, if you like the Lions for whatever reason tonight, that correlates with next week, right?
Yeah, if you think the Lions, again, I literally haven't talked to anyone that likes the Lions, so I know that contrarian players out there got to be taking Detroit. And if you like the Lions, if the Lions cover tonight, if they win tonight, this line's not going to be anywhere near the 9.5 that we're looking at. It's not going to be, even if the Lions win, it's not going to be below a touchdown, I don't think.
Okay. We got Washington football team, Buffalo Bills up next as the NFC East and AFC square off here, Teddy. 46 being the total. Looks like the Bills -9. There are some -9 in the hooks out there as the home favorite here, Teddy.
Yeah, look ahead line here was Buffalo -9, total of 47. My powering number has the Bills as 10-point favorites. The markets were at 9.5 last night, and now we're seeing more 9s and even some 8.5s popping up. So if you do like Washington, it's clear that the markets are looking in their direction. And I talked about last week about Tyler Heineke and how the markets weren't really adjusting in any significant way between Fitzpatrick and Heineke. And then they did throughout the course of the day, and then even into the week. The market said, yeah, Heineke's a point or two worse than Fitzpatrick. And then on game day, the money came back the other way. And, of course, Heineke made all the throws. He really had led the team to victory, literally. Ron Rivera, quote, he does have the ability to throw the ball and make all the throws. We've seen that, and he's got a lot of confidence. And it's a Washington offense that is, clicking a little bit. The Bills came out yesterday, and look, I did not have a good day in the NFL yesterday. This was the one I was the most wrong about. I had Miami plus the points, and that was dead early, and at least I didn't have to sweat it. Because it was, I wish I'd have gotten this quote before the game. Sean McDermott, quote, I saw hunger in our football team this week. We came in with guys who were focused. Obviously, we didn't like how the game went a week ago, so you've got to respond. And then McDermott asked, we got plenty to work on, though, and that's what we have to get back to, blah, blah, blah. We've seen some wide guy support for Washington. In theory, their defense is supposed to be better than it's been the last couple of weeks. And Buffalo, who couldn't run the football week one and then ran the football extremely well last week, there are still some concerns about the ability to run the football, which makes the Bills a questionable favorite in this range. Again, we've seen light Washington money. We may see some more. If you like the football team, grab a 9.5 now. I'm not convinced they're going to be there.
Good stuff, Teddy. As we're staying here in the 1 o'clock Eastern time slot, 10 a.m. Pacific. New Orleans Saints, New England Patriots. Kind of a tricky handicap here, Teddy. 43 being the total. We're seeing the Pats -3-point home favorites.
Look at line here was Pick'em, total of 45.5. My powering number is New England 5, and the markets are right in between. It's certainly, when you look at what happened to New Orleans yesterday, it's fully understandable. Okay, this is a team. Remember, they're the back half of their preseason. New Orleans gets a hurricane. They have to leave town. Then they play on the road, and then on the road again, and on the road again. Remember, they were in Jacksonville week one. They weren't in New Orleans.
Right.
They played that home game against Green Bay in Jacksonville. So now this will be another road game for a team that really hasn't been home since the beginning of August. All right, since week 2 of the preseason was the last time they were at home. So the middle of August. They haven't been home in more than a month in any real way for a home game. All right, you had a coaching staff, and it wasn't just the players. It was a coaching staff that had everyone was out with COVID. 5 of the team's offensive coaches sat out. It showed in yesterday's game. Alvin Kamara, 5 yards on 8 carries. The blocking wasn't there. Sean Payton after the game. Our protection plan wasn't good. It had nothing to do with us being shorthanded. Jameis Winston, this is an interesting one because I've always had the Saints in recent years. I've always given the Saints, I call it a road adjust in my power rating. I give them a point extra against the other team's home field when they go on the road. They've been such a good road team under Drew Brees. They were an awful road team yesterday. And here's a quote from Jameis Winston. Quote, "I have to communicate better and be louder. Our first time on the road, I definitely have to use my voice, let the offensive linemen know the protection that we want." Of course, the Patriots were able to take advantage against the Jets. Zach Wilson making mistakes early, and it made, again, another box score that New England doesn't have to win. Patriots, and you're seeing it in the number. We're seeing the money come, the early money come for New Orleans. They're betting against New England. Why are they betting against New England? Because their statistical profile isn't good. Why isn't their statistical profile good? Because they keep winning the turnover battle. And you have short fields. And you don't have to have an aggressive game plan. And Mac Jones doesn't have to take shots downfield. So there is a built-in institutional bias against teams that win the turnover battle consistently when it comes to powering numbers because the markets say, oh, it's just turnovers. They're not really that good. They lose the stats. This team's not that great. That's why we're seeing Saints support this week. And, of course, one team off a win, one team off a loss, both teams at 1-1. This stage of the season, the markets react significantly to teams coming off a single win or a single loss. Particularly teams coming, any good team coming off a loss is likely to get market support in September. We're seeing that early for the Saints, although I'm not seeing indications this line's going to move off a 3. It could. I don't think it will because I think there'll be enough public support for New England to keep it there.
Words of wisdom from one of the best in the business. Follow him on Twitter at Teddy_covers. Teddy covers on Wager Talk and SportsMemo.com. Guys, it's 5% big ticket plays, 11-2. That's 85% since May. Also in the NFL, 229 and 177. That's 57% in the NFL betting markets, going all the way back to 2015, week 1, 2015. Not cherry picking numbers there, guys. That's multiple years at 57%. In the NFL. That's one of the best records you'll see out there. And Teddy, we got a promo code here, line 69, to take a big discount off there in terms of Wager Talk in Sports Memo, huh?
Yeah. And what's that promo code again? I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me, but I know the concept is real simple. All right. The promo code is only for this show. We're trying to gauge whether you guys are interested in buying or not. If you're interested, take advantage. You get a full week's worth of picks. There's nothing more to buy. There's no bait and switch. You get all the 5% plays included, and you get a full week. Again, just the normal price, I think $119, and we're taking $50 off. What's that promo code, Drew? You type in it.
It's line 69, LINE 69, line 69. Big discount there at Wager Talk and SportsMemo.com for Teddy covers. Guys, next game up, LA Chargers, Kansas City Chiefs here. We got the Chiefs, minus 6.5 point favorites in Arrowhead. Teddy, 55.5 being the total. Looks like the highest total on the board.
I wanted to doodly oop this game, and there's still a couple of 7s out there, so we can doodly oop a little bit for this.
Should we do it?
Well, there's a better doodly oop coming.
Okay.
So, because this is one that you're going to have to shop for lines. It's not like this line. Like anyone can go out there and get this. There are still 7s out there with the Chargers. They're not going to be there. The money's going to come for LA, and it'll close 6.5 or lower. So if you can find a +7 now, I would. And you like the Chargers side. That's what you want to do. Again, the Chiefs are now 2-11 against the spread their last 13 games. It is not about September wins for this team. We saw them last night with the Edwards-Helaire fumble in field goal range at the end that cost them the straight up win. They wouldn't have covered the spread with a field goal kicking, with a field goal to win the game. And of course, the Chiefs are playing everybody tight. They're not winning games by margin. And this is going back to last year. They're doing enough to get the win. And boy, this Charger team's going to be hungry. Remember, Chargers have little to no home field edge at SoFi. Okay. It was a Dallas crowd in there yesterday.
Yeah.
All right. They had multiple touchdowns called back. They had a ton of mistakes and penalties. There's a quote from Brandon Staley after the game. Quote, there were 20 penalties in the game. It felt like a preseason game, to be honest with you. That's just the way the game was being officiated today. We've got to play within the parameters of how the game's being called. I felt like last week we won the game as a team, and I thought today we lost the game as a team. They just went one. They had red zone problems week 1 at Washington. They had red zone problems against Dallas. If they had red zone problems here, it's going to be a long afternoon. But Chargers giving the Chiefs a whole lot of problems in recent years, and I would expect a competitive game in this one. I would expect the money to come for LA.
Moving down the list, still 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific here. Atlanta Falcons, New York Giants. We got 48.5 being the total here. And it looks like the Giants, minus 3-point home favorites. Little juice on that 3 at most sportsbooks, Teddy.
Yeah, and I apologize. The Chiefs look-ahead line, 6.5, 54.5. My powering number is KC minus 7. Look-ahead line for the Giants-Falcons. Giants minus 2.5, total 48.5. My powering number is 4, and I continue to, not be enamored with Atlanta in any way, shape, or form. I'll say this for the Falcons yesterday, and again, that game made me freaking crazy. I needed the Bucs. I had a terrible start to the day yesterday, and I needed Tampa Bay. And Tampa had Matt Ryan. The pressure was on Ryan the entire game. And if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it. Matt Ryan only got sacked once. He had nimble feet yesterday. He play after play, he avoided the rush and moved in the pocket and made plays downfield. That's how they were down 28-10 and made it 28-25 and were making me crazy. And then Ryan had multiple interceptions, and both plays were exactly the same. The play got bad at the line of scrimmage. Now, the one I think got bad at the line of scrimmage and brought back. The other one was a poor throw, but it was Ryan under pressure, making mistakes, and that ended up being a run out. But Atlanta's a bad football team. They had fight yesterday. I'll give them that. But they're a bad football team, and the market's starting to react to that. And again, Saquon Barkley, 141-yard rush against Washington, and the other 12 carries, he had 16 yards. You had the Slayton drop all alone behind the defense when the pass bounced off his hands. You had the penalty on the long runs by Daniel Jones. And you have, by the way, some cluster injuries in the offensive line with Nick Gates and Shane Lemieux, both on IR right now for the G-Men. They're not a team that the markets are necessarily going to be real excited about laying points with. That said, this line's not going to 3.5. I don't see that coming right here. Not with the Giants, even though my powering number is 4. There could be some 3 with juice. We're seeing some 3s with juice with the Giants, but I don't know that we're going to get significant Giants money in the role of favorite. That's not how this team is built.
Teddy, good points there. Yeah, your Matt Ryan point in terms of, he's not the fastest guy, obviously, in the NFL from the quarterback position, but his pocket presence is very good. He's got quick feet back there.
Dude, it was insane yesterday. I mean, again, and this is me with a bet on Tampa and a big bet on Tampa and a bet that I needed after a crap start to the day. So maybe I was overreacting a little bit.
Yeah.
But, the pressure was there. Again, and Matt Ryan, he's dancing around. He's avoiding blitzers. They had him dead to rights in the backfield 5 times. And 5 times, Matt Ryan not only got away from the pressure, but completed passes. It was something. And it showed hunger from a team that, Matt Ryan has, the Falcons haven't always been the most hungry team. Let's be real.
Yeah.
In recent seasons.
Yeah, it's been a while since that 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl there. As hate to bring that up for Falcons fans out there, but it does speak to, it's a skill set in its own in terms of from the quarterback position, having the pocket presence to kind of keep plays around back. But we got 1 o'clock Eastern kick still, Teddy. Chicago and Cleveland next game up. Browns minus 7.5 point home favorites, 46.5 being the total here.
A look ahead line here was Browns minus 9.5, total 46.5. My powering number is 7.5, and obviously we're looking at pretty much 7.5s across the board here with Cleveland. I'm seeing no indication this number is moving anywhere right now, except for we are seeing a little bit of under money come in on this one. If you like the under, you might want to get to the window sooner or rather than later. And of course, the Bears played like an under team yesterday. Their defense was dominant in that ball game for most of the game. Akeem Hicks, quote, "I think on our first week, we didn't have the type of performance that we wanted. Throughout the week, there was an emphasis in order to bring those characteristics, energy, passion, playing hard throughout the snap, having those things as messages during the week. Just for the game, we reminded ourselves of this is where we want our defense to look like. And we came out and showed it today." Who's going to play quarterback for Chicago this week? Nagy after the game. Of course, we saw Dalton get hurt in yesterday's game. Justin Fields come in and play poorly. Fields did not play well. None of the rookie quarterbacks played well yesterday. Fields after the game, quote, "I don't think I'm pleased with how I played at all. I think there's a lot more in me that I have to show. I know there's going to come a time. I know it's not going to happen overnight, so I'm just going to keep grinding. No matter what happens, I know I'm meant for this and I'm meant to be here, blah, blah, blah." Again, the Bears got a interception return touchdown, and the offense scored 13 points. They're an under team. Mayfield got banged up yesterday, too, but he didn't miss a snap. He popped his left shoulder back in the socket, and he was just fine. Myles Garrett. And I've had some concerns about Cleveland in terms of their chemistry. This is a positive chemistry quote. Myles Garrett, offense liking the defense. Quote, "He's like Brett Favre 2.0. Less picks, though." Smile. Just let stuff roll off his back. He doesn't let the last play affect him. Good or bad, touchdown or interception, just rolls with his with the punches and stays the same. And, he's just steadying influence on that team right now. Bayfield is really accurate on his throws under the 20 yards, 18 to 20 yesterday. And it's worth noting, without Jarvis Landry, and Jarvis Landry suffered an MCL injury on the second offensive play, didn't come back. He's going to get an MRI. I don't know if he's going to play. Without Landry and OBJ, this is a dink and dunk offense. So making a case for this under, maybe I'm making one. 47s are there now. I'm not sure they're going to be there much longer.
All right, grab that, guys, before they're off the board there. We got 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific kicks now, Teddy. This is a good one. Miami and Las Vegas. The Raiders hosting the Dolphins here. 45.5 being the total. Raiders -4. Teddy, interested in the opinions here, opening line report style, but also want to throw something out there. These are my 2 favorite teams. I think I've watched every play from both of them this season. What the heck is this line doing at -4 in Las Vegas? The Raiders have looked good, beating the Ravens, going on the road to Pittsburgh, looking good, and the Dolphins getting smashed by the Bills. Tua's banged up. Why isn't this line higher?
So we're not going to do Cincy Pittsburgh?
My bad, as I set it up really well with the one I was looking forward to.
I got all my notes in order here, man. Let's talk Miami Raiders first, then we'll come back to Cincy Pittsburgh. Look ahead line was Raiders -1, total of 47. My power rating number, and I'm making up the markets aren't respecting Tua. The difference between Miami with Tua and the Miami with Brissett is significant in my mind. My number is 2, Raiders 2 with Tua and 5 with Brissett. The markets opened up anywhere between 4 and 5.5 last night. And again, I got an opening number for all of this. And last night it was all over the map. And it never came together. This morning it's come together. And they decided that 4 was the right number, not the 5.5. So the money's come in, but I'm not seeing it that any indication is going to go down from there. Obviously, total 45.5 at the open. Got the Raiders in a different role, though. We got the Raiders fat and happy, 2-0. We got the Dolphins off of, the Dolphins could have been worse. The first time ever where the Hurricanes and Dolphins both lost at home by 3 touchdowns or more on the same weekend. Miami 0 for 3 in the red zone. They allowed 4 for 4 red zone touchdowns. They committed 3 turnovers and 9 penalties. And we got to see what the status is with Tua. We don't know. Flores after the game, quote, "We didn't play well in any area. We beat ourselves. Penalties, drop passes, missed tackles. That starts with me. I got to do a better job. We need to do a much better job from an execution standpoint." That's the worst I've seen. That's the worst game Miami's played since that first month where Flores had the job. I would expect to see the Dolphins bounce back. This is their defense. And again, at least 1 takeaway in 24 consecutive games for Miami. By far the longest active streak in the NFL. Dallas and Tennessee are the other 2 teams that have had 1 takeaway that have streaks 8 games. Miami's at 24. Longest in history, by the way. New England, 36 consecutive games. With Brian Flores, their defensive coordinator. All right. Raiders defense was good yesterday, but of course, some of that has to do with Pittsburgh struggling on the offensive line and learning a new offense. Raiders offense is good yesterday, except for that. They have a couple of first-year starters, and when TJ Watt was in the game, they got blown up. They've looked really good. Ruggs, who got that nice touchdown pass yesterday. We're loaded with playmakers. We have guys ready to step up at any time. All that said, from a spot standpoint, it is clearly a Dolphin spot. And if Tua plays, I expect to see Miami money.
Apologize out there to everybody following along on the Wager Talk odds screen going down the list here. My excitement for the Dolphins and Raiders got us out of order. And here we go with Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, Teddy. We got the Steelers -4 in the hook, home favorites, 44.5 being the total.
It's all good, Drew. Look, I screw up I had the Dolphins. I had a bet on the Dolphins yesterday. That's far worse than skipping a game in order.
So did I.
And I didn't have a bet on
unfortunately.
Carolina, which is going to make me crazy all year. That yesterday. Rear view mirror.
Water under the bridge.
Yep. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Look headline: Pittsburgh -7, total of 47. My powering number: Pittsburgh -6. Current markets at 4.5 and 45.5. We're really starting to see. Well, there's some under money that's come in, but I'm not convinced we're going to see more of it. In fact, if you like the over, 44.5 might be a good number to jump in at. Pittsburgh's got injuries, big time injuries. TJ Watt, again, the difference between Watt being in the game and out of the game yesterday was night and day. Here's a quote from Carr after the game about Watt. Honestly, anytime he's on the field, he wrecks everything. When he's out of the game, you notice he's out, but it doesn't mean we can do this or we can do that. We run our stuff in Vegas and have full confidence our guy, blah, 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 blah. The point is, Watt's an impact player on a defense. And again, they didn't have Watt yesterday. They didn't have Joe Hayden yesterday. They didn't have Devin Bush yesterday. Deontay Johnson's had an injury on the final play of the game. Ben Roethlisberger, quote, right now my play just is not good enough. If I play better, we have a chance to win the football game. But it's a Pittsburgh team with injuries on the defense side of the football and an offense that isn't working right now. That has to be a concern if you want to lay up points with the Steelers in this game. All that said, Burrow, no interception. Sorry. Yeah, none. Let me say this right.
No interceptions?
No. He had more. He never threw more than a single interception in his first 11 games at a pro. In 38 games at Ohio State and LSU, he never threw more than 2 interceptions. And he threw 3 yesterday, just bang, 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 all at once. Quote, that's just me trying to force the ball, trying to get something going. We learned a lesson today that when your defense is playing as good as they are, you don't have to force those balls. You just kind of let the game go to you. Rough game for Burrow yesterday, as bad as I've seen him play. But a lot of that had to do with the good defense they were facing and the fact the offensive line couldn't protect them. And that may well be the case here against Pittsburgh as well.
Teddy, getting back in order here. Rotation number, that is 489-490 here. New York Jets and Denver Broncos. We got the Broncos seeing mostly minus 11s here across the board at the Wager Talk odds screen. We're seeing 41 being the total here, Teddy. Jets and Broncos.
Yeah, look ahead line here was Denver -9, total 42.5. My priority number is Denver -11. The markets are at 11 right now. Basically, there are a couple of 10.5s out there. There's a couple of 11.5s out there, but mostly 11s. I'm not seeing an indication this one's going to go way up or way down. How about this? Teddy Bridgewater, the 4th player in NFL history to open a season with consecutive games where he threw 2 touchdowns, no picks, and completed 75% of his passes. Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, the only other 2 quarterbacks to do that this century. So good company to be in for Teddy Bridgewater and that Denver offense. Of course, Denver's been feasting on the week, and they get another weak team this week. Zach Wilson booed off the field at halftime. He didn't get booed off the field at BYU. He never got booed off the field in high school. His quotes, they should be booing, right? We didn't play well on offense. Our defense gave us a chance to win. We didn't execute. We didn't move the ball well. We didn't score any points. We got to do a better job there. Speaking of the good comparisons for Teddy Bridgewater, 4 picks in his first 10 pass attempts. The 3rd rookie quarterback in the last 40 years to do that. The previous 2, you don't want to be on this list. You want to be on the list with Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers. You don't want to be on the list with Kyle Orton and Nathan Peterman. That's the list that Zach Wilson went on yesterday. And oh, by the way, that BYU offense clicking just fine without Zach Wilson behind center. So, Denver's being power rated through the roof right now. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed that the Broncos have looked so good so early because the bargains for betting on Denver have probably come and gone.
Good stuff from Teddy Covers. Guys, follow him on Twitter at Teddy_Covers. I'm on Twitter at Drew Martin Bet. Shout out to the chat box right now. Everybody, welcome in. Let us know what you're looking to bet, where you think these lines are moving. And feel free to comment below, guys, in the YouTube comment section here. We'd like to go in throughout the week, Teddy and myself, answer any questions. Also answer any questions here at the end of the show as well. So feel free to fire away here in the chat box. Teddy, next game up, Tampa Bay and the LA Rams. We got 54 being the total, -1 or pick 'em here. That's the Bucs as the short road favorite. Teddy, this is a good one. 2-2-0 teams. What are we thinking?
Give me that alert.
Doodly-oop, doodly-oop. EMA, emergency betting alert. Doodly-oop, doodly-oop.
Good stuff. Yeah. Look ahead line here was LA minus 3.5, total 52.5. My powering number is Tampa 2. It opened with the Rams as favorites. I'm seeing mostly pick'ems out there now. The money is going to come for Tampa. The money's already coming for Tampa. If you like the Bucs, get on them here.
Bet it now.
And look, I mean, that offense, Tampa's got the best offense in the NFL. Any game they're interested in, they're going to be tough to stop. The defense has struggled at times, and yet when they've had to, certainly against Atlanta, they got stops. Meanwhile, the Rams, that defense is down where it's been the last couple of years. They didn't stop the run as well. They allowed key completions downfield. The defensive line got pressure but missed sacks. They kept letting the quarterback escape. They had a couple of goal line stands, but Indy moved the ball all day. Matthew Stafford, after the win yesterday, quote, "They're not all going to be pretty," and it wasn't for LA. But Tampa right now is a hot team, and deservedly so in the betting markets. They've scored 30-plus in each of their last 9 or 10 games. The Bucs will go off as a favorite in this one, I would expect, even with some dicey defensive numbers. If you like Tampa, bet them sooner rather than later.
Get on the Bucs now, guys. As we move down the list here, Seattle Seahawks, Minnesota Vikings, steady 55.5 being the total. Another near pick'em price here, seeing -1 or pick'em. That's the Seahawks as the slight road favorites.
Yeah, look ahead line here was Seattle -2.5, total of 51. My powering number is Seattle -1. The market's sitting in that 1.5 range right now, and certainly the markets tend to like the 0-2 teams returning home. I would anticipate we will see some Minnesota money this week. That said, you got Seattle, who's been really good traveling east, and they've been really good off a loss. And of course, I mean, the Seahawks dominated I can't say dominated. They took advantage of Titans' mistakes to build a big lead, and then the fourth time. Here's one that so the fourth time in franchise history that Seattle lost when leading by at least 15 points at halftime. The first time I found this since losing to the St. Louis Rams 33-27 in overtime in 2014 at home. And so help me God, Drew, I remember that game. I had a big ticket on Seattle, and they dominated for 3 quarters, and then Holmgren started playing prevent defense, and I threw my couch through my screen door after they gave up back-to-back long touchdown bombs. And I'm like, oh, my God, they haven't lost a game since then?
Oh, my God.
I remember it was early on. That's crazy. Tyler Lockett after the game, quote, "We see what we can do in the first half. We know what we're capable of. Just got to be able to learn how to play when we're on top." Obviously, yesterday blowing that big lead. But more than anything, I mean, the 42 minutes of possession for Tennessee. When they needed a first down in the fourth quarter to give their defense a break, they couldn't get one, and that has to be a concern for Seattle moving forward in what is likely to be a true circle-the-wagon spot for a Vikings team that, again, got down to kick a 37-yard game winner. Wasn't like it was a 56-yarder. 37-yarder.
Right.
Wide right.
Those are tough to take for sure. Guys, 2 games left. Fire away. Any questions here in the chat box? Please smash that like button if you're liking the content here. Green Bay, San Francisco, next game up, Teddy. Sunday Night Football, 48 being the total. 49ers, -4-point home favorites.
Look ahead line, San Fran -3.5. My powering number is San Fran -4, and the markets are right there right now, 3.5 or 4. We'll have to see how Green Bay looks this evening. If Green Bay looks crappy tonight, let's say Green Bay loses. All right, let's just say this 3.5 with San Fran is going to look awful cheap tomorrow. San Fran's got cluster injuries in the secondary. They just signed Josh Norman. He started this week. Garoppolo was kind of off for extended stretch. It was such a weird game against Indy. They would have both teams, like every drive started from inside their own 10, and they'd have these long drives. San Fran gave up a 91-yard touchdown, or no, 91-yard completion, and no points on the drive. They gave up another long touchdown, but his foot was on the sideline before he came back in bounds, didn't reestablish or whatever. That touchdown didn't count either. But injuries all over the place for San Fran, a team that had huge injury problems last year. Yesterday they lost. I mean, they have no running backs. Literally, they got a guy who they signed off the practice squad who they were supposed to play maybe on special teams. and he ended up being the lead running back after Trey Sermon got hurt, JaMychal Hasty got hurt, and Kyle Juszczyk got hurt. And, of course, they lost Mostert last week. San Fran is a team that has some issues already, despite their start. And, of course, we'll have to see what happens with Green Bay tonight. And the Packers' performance tonight is going to have a huge influence on this line. If you like Green Bay tonight, maybe take the 4. If you think Green Bay is not going to do that well tonight, maybe you lay 3.5 with the 49ers here. Again, this is a split line as we speak. 4s are widely available, 3.5 is widely available. So you can get the best of the number, regardless of which side you like in this one.
Last game up, guys, talking about the Monday Nighter. Fire away any questions in the chat box. Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, 51 being the total. Cowboys, -4-point home favorites in the house that Jerry built, Teddy.
Yeah, look ahead line, Dallas 3.5, total 52.5. My powering number is Dallas 4.5, and the market's coming right in between with it's pretty much 4 across the board right now, 4 and 51. We have seen a little bit of under money. And you know what? Look, there weren't a whole lot of punts in the Cowboys game yesterday against the Chargers. They had the over in that. I think they had 1 punt in the game, and the game still stays under by margin. There are some injuries for Dallas. But again, this is a team that drafted 6 defenders and with their top 150 picks. They're all first 4 rounds or, maybe the first 5 rounds, whatever it was. And you know what? I watched it with my own eyes yesterday. That defense is getting better. All right. They had, there was early on, the Chargers had 4 offensive penalties, a 3rd and 11 and a 3rd and 13. And Dallas still gave up a touchdown on that drive. And then they allowed the 2-point conversion. But over the back half, they were struggling to get some of the high-impact 3rd and 4th down stops. And then they started making plays in the second half. That could be an improving unit. Of course, Mike McCarthy with his cluster bleep in the final 40 seconds bailed out when Zerline hit the 56-yarder to win for Dallas. And now you have Dallas off a rare win with Philly off a loss. The Eagles' defensive line controlled the flow early, and then Brandon Graham got carted off. It looks like he tore his Achilles. He missed only 1 game since 2011, his Achilles, I should say. Guys only missed 1 game 2011. That is a huge impact injury for a Philadelphia team that, again, their strength is in the trenches. They lost Graham yesterday. They lost a Pro Bowl guard, Brandon Brooks. Have to see what his status is. Those are big injuries for Philadelphia. Dallas has not been a great home favorite at Jerry's World, but right now the Cowboys are a little bit better than Philly, I think. Jalen Hurts, another young quarterback who didn't have a great game yesterday. Quote, we had a lot of opportunities we didn't capitalize on. No argument with that. Philly, not a disheartening loss, but the Eagles did not play well in yesterday's game against their divisional rival. They may play better, and laying more than a field goal with Dallas is always a concern. Where this number's going, again, it's not. I'm not seeing any indicator this number is doing anything right now, side or total, and that may well be the case. It might be sitting at 4 and 51 all week.
Good stuff from Teddy Covers. Guys, questions time here in the chat box. We'll answer a couple of them up against it time-wise. Also remember the coupon code LINE69. That's LINE 69 at checkout for Teddy Covers at SportsMemo or WagerTalk.com. Can't get it right asking, are these taunting, unsportsmanlike conduct penalties going to decrease? I want to emphasize that, Teddy, in terms of, it seemed like officiating was at the top of Twitter, at the top of lines, both in college on Saturday, that Mississippi State-Memphis game, Penn State-Auburn, and can't get it right here in these unsportsmanlike conduct in the NFL. Is this affecting your handicap of both college and the NFL, Teddy?
No, you can't. Okay. Look, the refs are going to do what they're going to do. All right. Sometimes they're going to call a bunch of plays. Sometimes, they're going to whistle, throw a bunch of flags. Other times, they're not going to whistle a bunch of flags. It is one of the factors we cannot control as bettors, as handicappers. You can't handicap it. You can't go into the game and going, this ref crew throws a lot of flags and they're going to take deep shots and therefore they're going to be a bunch of defensive PIs on this team. If you start trying to get through that thought process, it's not going to help your handicapping. So what do? You accept it and do the best you can with it. Sometimes you're going to be on the wrong end of some really frustrating non-calls. Other times you're going to be on the right end of some of those lovable non-calls or calls or whatever it is. And that's just the nature of what we do. You can't, I was on I had a couple of them this weekend that were pretty on Saturday, I had Boise State with a fumble return touchdown to win the game and cover, and oops, the whistle when he wasn't down and it wasn't, and then you still get the ball, but you don't get the touchdown, and then they freaking get stopped and miss the field goal and lose anyway. So it happens. It happens to everyone. Yeah. There's nothing you can do about it. They're the things we can handicap that we try to handicap. We do not try to handicap the unhandicappable. You just have to accept it when things don't go right with the refs. And in terms of changing my handicapping approach, no. What are you going to do?
Okay. We got Gigi asking, where do you think this Tampa Bay LA Rams line will close? Of course, that was the doodly loop here. Teddy, how high does it go on Tampa Bay?
I think Tampa goes the favorite. I don't think it gets to -3, but I think Tampa will go off the favorite in that game. There's love for the Bucs.
And we got Mug, last one here, Teddy. Okay. Mug asking the last one here, Teddy. Kind of a funny one. Do you ever get told you look like Anthony Bourdain?
Bourdain's not the one who the one guy from Law and Order, whose name I always forget, is the one that they always say that I look like. But I always forget his name. Bourdain, it's just a hair. And if I look like Anthony Bourdain, there'd be worms coming out of my nose. Pardon me. But I don't want to look like Anthony Bourdain anymore.
It was always a fun show to watch, and I think that's a good one anyway. Good one to end it on here, Rick. And appreciate it, guys, for chiming in the chat box. Well over 300 people watching live. We really appreciate it. If you could smash the like button, it does help us out, guys. And in terms of questions, feel free to drop them below on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Teddy and myself will be in there trying to answer as many as possible. We appreciate everybody joining us 10 a.m. Pacific time right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel each and every Monday. Check out Teddy, Wager Talk, and sportsmemo.com. 57% multi-year, guys. That is a heck of a record. Plus the fact we got the discount code here, line69 at checkout. Teddy, any final words here before we shut this down?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say thanks. So the response has been blowing me away. I really appreciate all the kind words, all the great comments. And again, Drew and I are going to get in there. We're going to answer. We're really trying to build this show up. There's so much crappy information out there. And this is a good show, I think, on a Monday. We're going to give you good info every single week. Please, if you like the show, give us a thumbs up, give us a follow, tell your friends about it. That's all I can ask. And again, that code 7 days, all access, normally priced at $119. You can get it, again, just for this show, a special for the opening line report only. Use that code line69 and get it $50 off for a full week's of play.
Line 69. Shout out to Joe and Dan behind the scenes producing the show. For Teddy Covers, I am Drew Martin. Guys, best of luck with your bets. We'll talk next Monday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Thanks for tuning in.
Why pay regular price when you can save money on every purchase with WagerBucks at both Wager Talk and Sports Memo? WagerBucks are now eligible for use on not just daily, 3-day, and 7-day passes, but all long-term and seasonal packages up to 1 full year. There are tons of options available for every budget and size of better, from as low as $90 gets $100, all the way up to $3,500 gets you $5,000. Save every day on every pick you buy with WagerBucks.